What is going on, everybody? It's basically group hug. This is a Sheoldred the Apocalypse deck tech video. This is very... I don't think it's high power. We're running just about every single draw power that you can have in black, as you probably should in a Sheoldred deck. This is the most interesting card design that I think I saw out of the set. Sheoldred just seems to be super duper cool. So I'm going to run through the deck. I'm going to play test the deck a little bit just to show you guys what's going on. I don't think there's any infinites in here. I didn't put Lich's Mastery in here, but if you do want an infinite, Lich's Mastery is probably the way to go. This is a very simple deck. Just draw cards, win game, you know, make your opponents draw cards. It plays very similar to Nekuzar and Quasar. So let's go ahead and start running through these cards. So obviously we have Sheoldred, 2 black, legendary creature, Phyrexian Praetor. It is a 4/5 with Death Touch, and the ability text says, when you draw a card, you gain 2 life. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. Jix failed. I shall not. Maybe I said that right. I have no idea. So let's see. We have Baleful Force. Like I said, I don't think this is high power at all. I think this is very casual. 8 mana. At the beginning of each upkeep, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. 7/7 Elemental. Blood Gift Demon, 2 black and 3 creature demon flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, target player draws a card and loses a life. We have Bone Miser. Whenever you discard a creature card, make a 2/2 black zombie. Whenever you discard a land card, add 2 black. Whenever you discard a non-creature, non-land, draw a card. I have cards like this in here because the idea is to force your opponents to draw a lot, forcing yourself to draw a lot, so when you discard and they discard, you get value out of what they discard. I feel like having these kinds of effects will run it well. I haven't really playtested this yet, but I think Bone Miser deserves a slot in the deck. I have Doomweaver. Whenever this is paired with another creature, each of those creatures has, when this creature dies, draw cards equal to its power. Card that says draw cards on it, right? Dread Presence says whenever a swamp ETBs, you draw a card, lose a life. You're probably not going to do the second, but if there is any pesky little creatures or whatever, you can ping them off just by playing a swamp. Elder Brain forces your opponents to draw a new hand of cards, however many they had in their hand. It basically wheels them, but you can also cast a spell from their hand. So I think it was a pretty good little fit in here. We have Fate Unraveler. This is a 3 and a black hag enchantment creature. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they take a damage. These kinds of effects are kind of needed. I'm running Underworld Dreams and whatnot. We're running Graveborn Muse. I don't actually even know how many zombies are in the deck. But at the very least, this is beginning of your upkeep, you draw an extra card. Gain a life. Grim Hari specs. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, draw a card. We're not really leaning into the aristocrat strategy, but when creatures do die, that happens in Commander a lot. You will at least get benefit. You'll draw cards off of that. We're running Crick. Crick is just a good black card. He kind of wombo combos with another card in the deck that I haven't quite gotten to yet, but you'll definitely see what it is. Running Kervek the Spiteful. For some reason, to be honest, I don't know why. But I am. Sure, I guess. We're running Midnight Reaper, 2 and a black zombie knight. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, Midnight Reaper deals 1 damage to you, and you draw a card. Another one of those effects where when your creatures die, you draw cards. That's all this is. Running Psychosis Crawler. Power and toughness equal to number of cards in your hand, but whenever you draw a card, each opponent loses a life. This is going to be huge in this deck, because when they draw cards, they take damage. When you draw cards, they take damage. They're just going to die super duper quick, and that's the idea of the deck. We're running Saison, Perverter of Truth, 3 black, legendary creature, Demon Spirit. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, they draw 2, lose 2. They is everybody. And this is a 6/5 for 5 mana, which is pretty good stats. This card is another card that just says draw more cards. Running Street Wraith, this is just pay 0 mana, 0 life, draw a card. Which is pretty cool. We're running Turgid, another one of those effects where when your opponent discards cards, hopefully that should be the case, you get any of the permanents they discard, which is pretty good. We're running Villas, which is the card I was talking about, the Wombo combos with Crick. So whenever you lose life, you draw that many cards, and Crick says you may pay Phyrexian black instead of black. So you pay 2 life instead of pay the black in any mana value. So what I'm getting at here is you can pay 4 life to give a creature neg1, right? Which you'll draw 4 cards, which will gain you 8 life, right? So you're gaining more life. So I guess this is an infinite. This board wipes and this draws you as many as you want with both those two. So I guess we do have an infinite in here, and I didn't even really realize. We actually do have another infinite that I forgot I put in here. We're running Veto. We're also running Exquisite Blood, Sanguine Bond. I had the big vampire cleric. I don't think it's a cleric, but it is a big vampire. 5 black. Says the same thing that Veto says. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much. It's a pretty good effect. It does Wombo combo with Exquisite Blood. We have Witch of the Moors, which is pretty much an auto include, I think, as it reanimates something every single turn. So at the beginning of your end step, if you gained life, each opponent sacks a creature, and you reanimate a creature to your hand. Whoops. Thought it was to the battlefield, but still, each opponent sacks a creature, and you get a... What is that card called? Regrowth effect. We're running Buried Alive, to get some of these bigger creatures in your graveyard, like Villas, Crick, Elder Brain, Baleful Force, those kinds of cards we kind of want in our graveyard so we can cheat out with reanimation effects. We're running Cut of the Prophets. This is a decent card, I think. I ran this in Queza, and it never really did anything too bad to me. Running Damnable Pact. Target player draws X and loses X, so this can double as a win con. Dark Deal, which is a wheel in black. We have Demonic Tutor, obviously, Grim Tutor. Knight's Whisper, draw 2, lose 2, but really you're just draw 2, gain 2. That's pretty good. Peer into the Abyss. This is a 7 mana, either I draw half my cards or you're dead. One of the two. We're running Persist. This returns specifically a non-legendary creature, but I think it was good enough to include. Reanimate, Sign in Blood, black, draw 2, gain 2 in this deck. We're running Dark Writ. 1 black, add 3 black at instant speed. That's always, pretty good. Dismember. This kind of goes hand in hand with Villas, I think. So, pay 4 life and a mana. Kill a creature, draw, 1, 2, 3, 4 cards? That's pretty good. We're running Entomb, search for a card, put it in your graveyard. The shuffle, so another one of those effects to get a creature in your yard and bring it back out. Snuff Out, another free kill spell. Running Stinging Study. This card says draw 4, lose 4, because 4 is the mana value of our commander. Running Vampiric Tutor. Aether Flux. This is going to be our main win con in the deck. because we're gaining so much life when we draw all these cards. I feel like Aetherflux is going to be hands down the MVP of the deck. We're running Alchemart's Archive. If you would gain life, gain twice that much instead. If you would draw a card, except the first one, you draw 2 cards instead. That's pretty good. We're doubling our life gain, which Sheoldred wants. We're doubling our card draw, which Sheoldred wants. It's hands down a great card in the deck. Arcane Signet, mana ramp, we need Bolas' Citadel. This happens to Wombo combo with Aetherflux Reservoir and also Villas, so Bolas is pretty good. Commander's Sphere. Normally I try to stray away from this card, but it does say sack to draw a card. I think that's pretty good. Felwar Stone, another mana rock. Fonts of Mythos. This allows everybody to draw 2 extra cards during their draw step. Horn of Greed. Whenever a player plays a land, they draw a card. Howling Mine, draw an additional card. Memory Jar says sack it. Each player exiles their hands face down, draws 7. At the end of the turn, they discard the hands that they drew that turn and put all of the exile cards back into their hands. So this, each opponent loses 14, you gain 14, and you're also doing this at a point where you can cast all those cards that you just drew. Mind's Eye says 1 mana, gain 2, draw a card. That's pretty good, right? I feel like. Sensei's Top, this Wombo combos with Aetherflux Reservoir and Bolas' Citadel. And it also says to draw a card. So I felt like that combo should be in here. Even though I try to stray away from it at this point, I've used it a lot, but I feel like in this deck it makes a lot of sense. We're running Soul Ring. Gotta run a Soul Ring. Teferi's Puzzle Box. I didn't know I clicked this art, but at the beginning of each player's draw step, that player puts all the cards in their hand on the bottom of their library in any order, and then they draw that many. So they draw first, they draw for turn, right? And then they put all their cards in their hand at the bottom and draw that many. Which is going to make them lose a lot of life and us gain a lot of life. Temple Bell says tap, each player draws a card. Thought Vessel gives us no max hand size, which is pretty good in this deck. We're running Well of Lost Dreams. Whenever we gain life, we may pay X mana, where X is less than or equal to the amount of life we gained if we do draw X cards. So if we have infinite mana, which I don't think is possible in this deck, but if we do have infinite mana, we can draw our entire deck with this card. We're running Animate Dead. Animate Dead is one of those reanimation effects. Arguel's Bloodfast. This card actually flips. I don't know what it flips into, but it does say pay 2 life, draw a card. So I thought, why not? We'll transform it. Tap, add black, tap, sacrifice creature, gain life equal to the sacrifice creature's toughness. We should never have to flip this because it says if you have 5 or less life. And in Sheoldred, I feel like you should always have more than 5 life. But just in case something crazy happens, you have this as a backup plan. We're running Black Market Connections. This is a far better Phyrexian Arena, I feel like. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, choose 1 or more, make a treasure token, lose a life, draw a card, lose 2 life, and make a 3/2 shapeshifter with Changeling, lose 3 life. So we really care about those first 2 effects. We can use the 3rd effect if we really need to, but the first 2 is what we're really going after. Dance of the Dead, which is another reanimation effect. We're running Dark Prophecy, which says whenever a creature you control dies, you draw a card and lose a life, and that's an enchantment. Exquisite Blood, this is one of our Wombo combos. This Wombo's with Veto and Sanguine Bond, which we haven't got to yet. Greed says pay a black 2 life, draw a card. Phyrexian Arena, it is a 2 black and 1 enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and lose a life. Price of Knowledge, players have no maximum hand size. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, it deals damage to that player equal to the number of cards in their hand. Right? I feel like we're constantly filling up everybody's hands, right? We're constantly putting cards in everybody's hands, and if we can make that number super duper high with Price of Knowledge, we are then hurting them a lot, right? So I feel like that's the idea with this card. Sanguine Bond is one of our wombo combos. Underworld Dreams. This is such a good card in this deck. It takes it from 2 damage to 3 damage. I'm just saying Lightning Bolt is so much better than Shock. It's a lot more things. We're running Wound Reflection. So at the beginning of each end step, each opponent loses life equal to the life they lost this turn. I feel like this is an auto-include almost. Say we make them lose, I don't know, even just 4, right? Say they draw 2 cards, so they lose 4 life. They're going to lose 8. That's pretty good, you know, I feel like. We're running a pretty standard black land base. We're running Cabal Coffers and Urborg. We are running Castle Lochthwain and Makokoro, just because they say draw cards on them. We're running Thespian Stage and Vesuva to copy our Cabal Coffers, just to make more black mana, just because. That's pretty much that. That's pretty much that idea. So I'm gonna go ahead and play test this a little bit to show you guys how this deck works. I think I've kind of done a decent job explaining it, but it's always good to show what's actually going on. So let's see. This is probably a keepable hand, right? So we play this. I would probably hold off and just wait to cast Sheoldred, right? Next turn, play this swamp. Tap, cast Darkrit. For another black, cast Sheoldred. And now we're drawing a card and gaining 2. These are untapped. We play a land. I'm sorry, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here, but okay. Let's move these to our hand. Sure. View library. I'm gonna show Exquisite Blood. If you haven't ever seen this combo, this just shows how it works, you know. If I can... Hello? Alright, so the way this works, it says whenever an opponent... Let me do this. Whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. And whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much. So, say you have Sheoldred out, right? You pass your turn with both of these on board. They draw a card. They're going to lose 2, which is going to cause you to gain 2. And because you've gained 2, they're going to lose 2. And because they lost 2, you're going to gain 2. And this is going to keep bouncing off until each of your opponents is dead. And then the game's over. You win. It's just wombo combo with no setup other than these 3 cards on the field. Even without these 3 cards on the field, if you just smack them with something, say this guy, he's on the field, you can just smack him for 3, and then somebody takes damage, and you wombo combo off and win. You don't even need Sheoldred for this. So let's go, let's see, view library. I'm gonna show you guys Crick, and Villas. No, yeah, Villas. Alright, so this says for each black and a cost, you may pay 2 life rather than pay its mana cost. And this says black 2 life, target creature gets -1 until end of turn. Now keep in mind, you do have to have a creature to target. However, you can respond to your own targets. With Sheoldred out, right? And these 2 guys here, you're gonna pay 4 life. Oh, trigger. You paid 4 life. You're going to draw 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, trigger. You drew 4 cards. You're going to gain 8 life. So we're going to go down to 36. And now we're going to go up to 44. Oh, I think I want to respond to this activation real quick. And I'm going to do it again. Granted, we can't see the cards yet. Pretend they're still on top. We're going to pay 4 life and put some more activations. We're going to put all the way down to 4. So we're gonna draw 40 cards and gain 80 life, right? I believe I'm explaining this well enough. If I'm not, please let me know in the comments and I'll try to explain it a little bit better. But I'm going to go on to the next combo that I think is going to be the main win con of the deck. It doesn't necessarily have to have Sheoldred, but it does help. You know, I feel like it definitely helps. So we're going to find... Nope. It'd probably be better just to search for these things, but Aetherflux. Nope. Sensei's top. Close and shuffle. Okay, top is on top of our library, correct? Okay. So we can use Bolus's ability to cast top off the top of our library. This says you may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than pay its mana cost. So you have to pay 1 life to cast Sensei's Dividing Top. Cool. Gain a life. Actually, I don't think you even need Aetherflux in this combo now that I think about it. Because you pay... Alright, so let's go... Let's say we start 10. We're paying a life to cast this. We're going to tap, draw a card, gain 2, and put this back on top. Yeah, we can just... So, alright. Well, we don't draw. I think I said draw 2. We don't draw 2. We just draw 1. But we are going to gain 2. We're going to net a life each time. This is going to draw our entire deck until we find Aetherflux. And once we find Aetherflux, that's going to be our win con to shoot everybody. Because it says, pay 50 life, Aetherflux deals 50 damage to target creature or player. So what we're doing here is we're storming off with Sensei's Top and Bolus's Citadel, and our finisher is going to be Aetherflux, right? So we're going to gain essentially... It's not quite infinite because you are limited to your deck size, but you definitely have enough time to storm off with Aetherflux and gain that much life. Because each time you're gaining more and more life, and it just adds up, man. I promise. So I think that's all the main combos of this deck. I'm gonna go back to the Sheoldred deck list here. I'm gonna leave the deck list in the description below. If you guys enjoyed this deck tech, please let me know. This deck seems like it's gonna be a lot of fun. Like I said, I haven't play tested it yet, but I'm really excited to play it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this deck tech. I hope you guys enjoyed what's in the deck itself. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.